तं बिम्बरक्तधरं मीनस्य विरस्तामरं लक्षलाभे
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agnanatimirandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmiritam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapadakamalaam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrijatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sarvaitam Savarutam Parijana Saitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमां विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवारि पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् शृण्वतं स्वाकता कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनारिद्यन्तस्तोय भद्राणि विदुनुति सृत्सतां नस्तप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भागवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Before reciting the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of God and Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire from material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Last chapter of Canto 1, text number 12, chapter 19. Sukhopavistva tateshu bhuya krita pranama svachikirsitam yad vignapayama savivikta cheta upashtito gre bigigrihita pani. Sukha, happily, upavishtesu, all sitting down, atha, thereupon, teshu, unto them, the visitors, bhuyaha, again, krita pranamaha, having offered obeisances, va, his own, chikirsitam, decisions of fasting, yat, who, vignapayamasa, submitted, vivikta cheta, one whose mind is detached from worldly affairs, upashtita, being present, agre, before them, abhigrahita pani, humbly with folded hands. Translation. After all the rishis and others had seated themselves comfortably, the king, humbly standing before them with folded hands, told of his decision to fast until death. Purport. Although the king had already decided to fast until death on the bank of the Ganga, still he humbly expressed his decision to elicit the opinions of the great authorities present there. Any decision, however important, should be confirmed by some authority. That makes the matter perfect. This means that the monarchs who ruled the earth in those days were not irresponsible dictators. They scrupulously followed the authoritative decisions of the saints and sages in terms of Vedic injunctions. Maharaj Parikshit, as a perfect king, followed the principles of consulting the authorities, even up to the last days of his life. Rajovacha aho vayam danayatmarnibanam mahattamanugrannishya shila ragnam kulam brahmanapada sauchat durat vishritam bata grahyam garhya karma. Sri Rajavacha, the fortunate king, said, Aho, Vayam, we, Danyata, Tamaha, most thankful, Dribanam, of all the kings, Mahattama, of the great souls, Anugrahani Ashila, trained to get favors, Ragnam, of the royal Kulam orders, Brahmanapada, feet of the Brahmanas, Sauchat, refuse after cleaning, Durat, at a distance, Vishrishtam, always left out, Bata, on account of Garhya, condemnable. Karma activities. Translation. The fortunate king said, We are the most grateful of all the kings who are trained to get favors from the great souls. Generally, you, sages, consider royalty as refused to be rejected and left in a distant place. Purport. According to religious principles, stool, urine, wash water, etc. must be left out at a long distance. Attached bathrooms, urinals, etc. may be very convenient amenities of modern civilization, but they are ordered to be situated at a distance from residential quarters. That very example is cited herein in relation to the kingly order for those who are progressively marching back to Godhead. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that to be in intimate touch with dollars and cents man or the kingly order is worse than suicide for one who desires to go back to Godhead. In other words, the transcendentalists do not generally associate with men who are too enamored by the external beauty of God's creation. By advanced knowledge in spiritual realization, the transcendentalist knows that this beautiful material world is nothing but a shadowy reflection of the reality, the kingdom of God. They are not therefore very much captivated by royal opulence or anything like that. But in the case of Maharaj Parikshit, the situation was different. Apparently, the king was condemned to death by an inexperienced Brahmana boy, but factually he was called by the Lord to return to him. Other transcendentalists, the great sages and mystics who assembled together because of Maharaj Parikshit's fasting unto death, were quite anxious to see him, for he was going back to Godhead. Maharaj Parikshit also could understand that the great sages who assembled there were all kind to his forefathers, the Pandavas, because of their devotional service to the Lord. He felt therefore grateful to the sages for being present there at the last stage of his life, and he felt that it was all due to the greatness of his late forefathers or grandfathers. He felt proud, therefore, that he happened to be the descendant of such great devotees. Such pride for the devotees of the Lord is certainly not equal to the puffed up sense of vanity for material prosperity. The first is reality, whereas the other is false and vain.
Hare Krishna Prabhu Dhanavad Pranam Jai Prabhupada.
Pranam Jai Shri Prabhupada. Thank you for joining, Prabhu.
Prabhu, you are single reading.
What, Prabhu?
You are alone reading, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, I'm waiting for others to join. Thank you for joining, Prabhu.
How many you have read, Prabhu?
One verse, Prabhu.
Okay. Yes, continue.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Haribol. The first is तस्यैव मे गृहस्य परावरेषु व्यासक्तचित्तस्य गृहे स्वभीक्ष्णं निर्वेदमूलोद्विजश्चापरूपो यत्र प्रसक्तो भयमाशु दत्ते Tasya, his, eva certainly, me, mine, agasya of the sinful, para transcendental, avara mundane, ishaha controller, the supreme lord, vyashakta overly attached, chittasya of the mind, griheshu to family affairs, apikshanam always, nirvedamula the source of detachment, dvijashapa cursing by the brahmana, rupa form of Yatra, whereupon, Prashakta, one who is affected, Bayam, fearlessness, Ashu, very soon, that they take place. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, the controller of both the transcendental and mundane worlds, has graciously overtaken me in the form of a Brahmana's curse. Due to my being too much attached to family life, the Lord, in order to save me, has approached before me in such a way that out of fear only I will detach myself from the world. Purport. Maharaj Parikshit, although born in a family of great devotees, the Pandavas, and although securely trained in transcendental attachment for the association of the Lord, still found the allurement of mundane family life so strong that he had to be detached by a plan of the Lord. Such direct action is taken up by the Lord in the case of a special devotee. Maharaj Parikshit could understand this by the presence of the topmost transcendentalists in the universe. The Lord resides with the devotees, and therefore the presence of the great saints indicate the presence of the Lord. The king therefore welcomed the presence of the great rishis as a mark of favor of the Supreme Lord. Text 15. तमुपयातं परित्यन्तु विप्रा गङ्गा च देवी धृतचित्तमिषे द्विजोपसृष्टा कुहकस्तक्षको वा दशत्वलं गायत विष्णुगाथा Tam for that reason, me, upayatam taken shelter of, pratiyantu just accept me, vipraha o brahmanas, Ganga mother Ganga, Cha also, Devi direct representative of the Lord, Drita taken into Chittam heart, Ishe unto the Lord, Dvija upasrishta created by the Brahmana, Kuhakaha something magical, Takshakaha the snake bird, Va either, Dashatu let it bite, Alam without further delay, Gayata please go on singing, Vishnu Gata narration of the deeds of Vishnu.
Prabhu, who is saying the Om?
Who is what?
These sentence are who is saying to Om?
Hare Krishna, dear Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances, all wishes for Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Amit Prabhu Dandarpanam Jai Shri Prabhupada. So this is Maharaj Parikshit talking to the sages.
Okay, bro. Thank you.
O Brahmanas, just accept me as a completely surrendered soul and let Mother Ganga, the representative of the Lord, also accept me in that way. For I have already taken the lotus feet of the Lord into my heart. Let the snake bird or whatever magical thing the Brahmana created bite me at once. I only desire that you all continue singing the deeds of Lord Vishnu. Purport. As soon as one is given up completely unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, he is not at all afraid of death. The atmosphere created by the presence of great devotees of the Lord on the bank of the Ganga and Maharaj Parikshit's complete acceptance of the Lord's lotus feet were sufficient guarantee to the king for going back to Godhead. He thus became absolutely free from all fear of death. Anyone want to read the next one? Oh, Amit Prabhu left. Maybe his connection cut. Text number 16. Punascha bhuyad bhagavat yananterati prasangascha tadashrayeshu mahatsu yam upayami srishtim maitrastu sarvatra namod vijaypayaha. Punaha, again, cha and bhuyat, let it be, Bhagavati, unto the Lord Sri Krishna, Anante, who has unlimited potency, Ratihi, attracting, Prasanga, association, cha also, tat his, Ashrayeshu, with those who are his devotees, Mahatsu, within the material creation, Yam, whichever, Upayami, I may take, Srishtim, my birth, Maitri, friendly relation, Astu, let it be, Sarvatra, everywhere. Namaha, my obeisances, to Vijayabhyaha, and to the Brahmanas. Translation. Again, offering obeisances unto all you Brahmanas, I pray that if I should again take my birth in the material world, I will have complete attachment to the unlimited Lord Krishna, association with his devotees, and friendly relation with all living beings. Purport. That a devotee of the Lord is the only perfect living being is explained herein by Maharaj Parikshit. A devotee of the Lord is no one's enemy, although there may be many enemies of a devotee. A devotee of the Lord does not like to associate with non-devotees, although he has no enmity with them. He desires association with the devotees of the Lord. This is perfectly natural because birds of the same feather mix together. And the most important function of a devotee is to have complete attachment for Lord Sri Krishna, the Father of all living beings. As a good son of the Father behaves friendly with all his other brothers, so also the devotee of the Lord, being a good son of the Supreme Father, Lord Krishna, sees all other living beings in relation with the Supreme Father. He tries to bring back the upstart sons of the Father to a saner stage and to get them to accept the Supreme Fatherhood of God. Maharaj Parikshit was certainly going back to Godhead, but even if he were not to go back, he prayed for a pattern of life which is the most perfect way in the material world. A pure devotee does not desire the company of a personality as great as Brahma, but he prefers the association of a petty living being, provided he is a devotee of the Lord. Hare Krishna Pranjal Prabhu Danda Pranam Jai Shri Prabhupada. Okay, who wants to read the next one?
Yes, bro. One for I can read. Pranjal Pro Dandot Pranjay Prabhupada. Yes, iti isma Raja Vyavasaya Yukta Prajin Mungle Sukuse Sudhira Udanmukho Dakshana Kulaste Samudra Patnya Sasuta Nyasta Para Iti Dasma as in the past Raja the king Adhyasaya perseverance Yukta being engaged Prajin Eastern Mules with the rule Usesu on a seat made of Usa straw Dhira self-controlled Udanmukha facing the northern side Dakshina. On the southern coal bank Aste situated Samudasi Patnya, wife of the Ganges, own son, next to gain over Bharatacharya administration. In perfect control, Maharaj Parikshit sat down on a seat of straw with straw roots, facing the east, placed on southern bank of the Ganges, and he himself faced the north. Just previously, he had given charge of his kingdom over to his son. The river Ganges is celebrated as a wife of the sea. The seed of pusa straw is considered to be sanctified if the straw is taken out of the earth complete with root, and if the root is pointed toward the east, it is considered to be auspicious. Facing the north is more favorable for attaining spiritual success. Maharaj Parikshit handed over the charge of administration to his son before leaving home. He was thus fully equipped for all favorable conditions. Thank you, Prabhu. I can add one nuance.
Thank you so much, Shubham Prabhu. Okay, text number 18. Amit Prabhu, you can read whenever you're ready. Evam च तस्मिन् नरदेवदेवे एवं च तस्मिन् नरदेवदेवे प्रयोपविष्टे दिवि देवसङ्गा प्रशस्य भूमौ व्यकिरान् प्रशूनैर्मुदा मुहुर्दुन्दुबायश्च नेदु. Evam, thus, cha, and tasmin, in that, Naradeva Deve, upon the kings, Praya Upavishte, being engaged in fasting to death, Divi in the sky, Deva demigods, Sangha, all of them, Prasyasya, having praised the action, Bhumau on the earth, Vyakiran, scattered, Prashunai, with flowers, Muda, in pleasure, Muhu, continually, Tundubaya, celestial drums, Charles, so Nedu, beaten. Translation. Thus the king Maharaj Pariksit sat to fast until death. All the demigods of the higher planets praised the king's action, and in pleasure continually scattered flowers over the earth and beat celestial drums. Purport. Even up to the time of Maharaj Pariksit, there were interplanetary communications, and the news of Maharaj Pariksit fasting unto death to attain salvation reached the higher planets in the sky where the intelligent demigods live. The demigods are more luxurious than human beings, but all of them are obedient to the orders of the Supreme Lord. There is no one in the heavenly planets who is an atheist non-believer. Thus any devotee of the Lord on the surface of the earth is always praised by them. And in the case of Maharaj Pariksit, they were greatly delighted and thus gave tokens of honor by scattering flowers over the earth and by beating celestial drums. A demigod takes pleasure in seeing someone go back to Godhead. He is always pleased with the devotee of the Lord, so much so that by adidavic powers he may help the devotees in all respects, and by their actions the Lord is pleased with them. There is an invisible chain of complete cooperation between the Lord and the demigods and the devotee of the Lord. There is an invisible chain of complete cooperation between the Lord, the demigods, and the devotee of the Lord on your earth. There is an invisible chain. Text number 19. Maharshyo vai samupagataye prashasya sabhya vitanumodamana uchuh prajanugrahashilashara yad uttama guna birupam. Maharshaya, the great sages, why, as a matter of course, samupagata, assembled there, ye, those who, parashasya, by praising, sadhu, quite all right, iti, thus, anumodamana, all approving, uchu, said, rajanugraha, doing good to the living being, Shilasara, qualitatively powerful, yet because Uttama Shloka, one who is praised by selected poems, Guna Abhirupam, as beautiful as godly qualities. Translation. All the great sages who were assembled there also praised the decision of Maharaj Pariksit, and they expressed their approval by saying, "Very good." Naturally, the sages are inclined to do good to common man, for they have all the qualitative powers of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, they were very much pleased to see Maharaj Pariksit, a devotee of the Lord, and they spoke as follows. Purport. The natural beauty of a living being is enhanced by rising up to the platform of devotional service. Maharaj Pariksit was absorbed in attachment for Lord Krishna. Seeing this, the great sages assembled were very pleased, and they express their approval by saying, "Very good." Such sages are naturally inclined to do good to the common man, and when they see a personality like Maharaj Parikshit advanced in devotional service, their pleasure knows no bound, and they offer all blessings in their power. Devotional service of the Lord is so auspicious that all the demigods and sages, up to the Lord Himself, become pleased with the devotee, and therefore the devotee finds everything auspicious. All inauspicious matters are removed from the path of a progressive devotee. Meeting all the great sages at the time of death was certainly auspicious for Maharaj Parikshit, and thus he was blessed by the so-called curse of a Brahmana's boy. So the Brahmana's boy blessed him. People.
May I read further, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. You can read next one.
Thank you, Prabhu. Nava idam rajarshi chitram bhavatsu krishnam samanurratreshu yedhyasanam rajakirita justam sadyo jahur bhagavat parshvakamah. No, neither. Like this, idam, this Rajarshi, saintly king, Vers, Varya, the chief, Chitram, astonishing, Bhavatsu, unto you all, Krishnam, Lord Krishna, Sama, Samanu Vrateshu, unto those who are strictly in the line of Ye, who, Adhyasanam, seated on the throne, Raja Kirita, helmets of kings, Justam, decorated Sadhya immediately. Jahu gave up Bhagavat, the personality of Godhead, Parsva Kama, desiring to achieve association. Translation and powered by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The sages said, O chief of all the saintly kings of the Pandu dynasty who are strictly in the line of Lord Shri Krishna, it is not at all astonishing that you give up your throne, which is decorated with the helmets of many kings, to achieve eternal association with the personality of Godhead. But foolish politicians who hold political administrative posts think that the temporary posts they occupy are the highest material gain of life, and therefore they stick to that post even up to the last moment of life, without knowing that achievement of liberation as one of the associates of the Lord in His eternal abode is the highest gain of life. The human life is meant for achieving this end. The Lord has assured us in the Bhagavad Gita many times that going back to Godhead, His eternal abode, is the highest achievement. Prahlad Maharaj, while praying to Lord Narsimha, said, "Oh my Lord, I am very much afraid of the materialistic way of life, and I am not at the least afraid of your present ghastly, ferocious feature as Narsimha Deva." This materialistic way of life is something like a grinding stone, and we are being crushed by it. We have fallen into. Hare Krishna.
कोई नहीं कोई नहीं।
Okay.
मैं तो अभी घर जा रहा हूँ एक्चुअली इसके बाद
Okay.
खा के जस्ट
ठीक है। Okay. Hare Krishna. One devotee I must. Where was I? Narasimhadev. Yes, this materialistic way of life is something like a grinding stone, and we are being crushed by it. We have fallen into this horrible whirlpool of the tossing waves of life, and thus, my Lord, I pray at your lotus feet to call me back to your eternal abode as one of your servitors. This is the summit liberation of this materialistic way of life. I have very bitter experience of the materialistic way of life. Uh, In whichever species of life I have taken birth, compelled by the force of my own activities, I have very painfully experienced two things, namely separation from my beloved and meeting with what is not wanted. And to counteract them, the remedies which I undertook uh, were more dangerous than the disease itself. So I drift on from one point to another. Drift from one point to another, birth after birth, and I pray to you, therefore, to give me a shelter at your lotus feet. The Pandava kings, who are more than many saints of the world, know the bitter results of the materialistic way of life. They are never captivated by the glare of the imperial throne they occupy, and they seek always the opportunity of being called by the Lord to associate with him eternally. Maharaj Parikshit was the worthy grandson of Maharaj Yudhishthir. Maharaj Yudhishthir gave up the imperial throne to his grandson, and similarly, Maharaj Parikshit, the grandson of Maharaj Yudhishthir, gave up the imperial throne to his son Janmejaya. That is the way of all the kings in the imperial throne to his son Janmejaya. That is the way of all the kings in the dynasty because they are all strictly in the line of Lord Krishna. Thus, the devotees of the Lord are never enchanted by the glare of materialistic life, and they live impartially unattached to the objects of the false, illusory, materialistic way of life. Uh, सर्वे सर्वे वयं तावदेह स्महेथा कलेवरं यावदसौ विहाय लोकं परं विरजस्कं विशोकं यास यास्यत्य अयं भागवत प्रधानः survey all vayam of us tavat as long as iha at this place asmahe shall stay atha hereafter kalevaram the body yavat so long asau the king vihaya giving up lokam the planet param the supreme virajaskam completely free from mundane contamination vishokam completely freed from all kinds of lamentation yasyati returns I am this bhagavat devotee pradhanah the foremost. Translation and puppet by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We shall all wait here until the foremost devotee of the Lord, Maharaj Parikshit, returns to the supreme planet, which is completely free from all mundane contamination and all kinds of lamentation. But beyond the limitation of the material creation, which is compared to the cloud and the sky, there is the Paravyoma. Paravyoma or the spiritual sky full of planets like called Vaikunthas. Such Vaikuntha planets are also differently known as the Purusho, Purushottama Loka, Achyuta Loka, Trivikrama Loka, Rishikesha Loka, Keshava Loka, Aniruddha Loka, Madhava Loka, Pradyumna Loka, Shankarshan Loka, Sridhar Loka, Vasudeva Loka, Ayodhya Loka, Dwaraka Loka, and many other millions of spiritual lokas wherein the personality of Godhead predominates. And all the living entities there are liberated souls with spiritual bodies as good as that of the Lord. There is no material contamination, everything there is spiritual, and therefore there is nothing objectively lamentable. They are full of transcendental bliss and are without birth, death, old age, and disease. And all amongst all of the above mentioned Vaikuntha lokas, there is one supreme loka called Golok Vrindavan, which is the abode of the Lord Sri Krishna and his specific associates. Maharaj Parikshit was destined to achieve this particular loka, and the great rishis assembled there could foresee this. All of them consulted amongst themselves about the great departure of the great king, and they wanted to see him up to the last moment because they would no more be able to see such a great devotee of the Lord. When a great devotee of the Lord passes away, there is nothing to be lamented because the devotee is destined to enter into the kingdom of God. But the sorry plight is that such great devotees leave our sight, and therefore there is every reason to be sorry. As the Lord is rarely to be seen by our present eyes, so also are the great devotees. The great rishis therefore correctly decided to remain on the spot till the last moment. Text 22. Ashrutya tad rishi gana vachah parikshit samam madhuchud guru cha chavya चाव्यलीकम् आभसतैनन् अभिनन्दया युक्तं शुश्रू शुश्रूषमाणश्चरितानि Vishnu. Ashrutya, just after hearing that Rishigana, the sages assembled, Vachaha, speaking, Parikshit Maharaj, Parikshit, Samam, impartial, Madhu, Chut, sweet to hear, Guru, grave, uh, Cha, also, Avyalikam, perfectly true, Abhasat, Abhash, Abhashat, said, Inan, all of them, Abhinandya, congratulated, Yuktan, appropriately presented, Shushru, Shushrusamanaha, being desirous, Charitani, activities of Vishnu, the personality of Godhead. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, S.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. All that
Yeah.
was spoken by the great sages was very sweet to hear, full of meaning and appropriately presented as perfectly true. So after hearing them, Maharaj Parikshit, desiring to hear of the activities of Lord Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, congratulated the great sages. Text 23. Samagataha sarvata eva sarve Veda yatha murtidhara prishte Nihath namutra cha kaschanartha rite paranugraham atmashilam samagataha assembled sarvatah from all directions eva certainly sarve all of you Vedaha supreme knowledge yatha as murti dharaha personified Pristhe on the planet of Brahma, which is situated above the three planetary systems, namely the upper, intermediate, and lower worlds. No, not Iha in this world, Atha thereafter, No, nor Amutra in the other world, Cha also, Kashchan in any other, Artha interest, Rite seven except para others, Anugraham doing good to Atma Shilam own nature. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Yeah.
The king said, O great sages, you have all very kindly assembled here, having come from all parts of the universe. You are all as good as the supreme knowledge personified who resides in the planet above the three worlds, Satyaloka. Consequently, you are naturally inclined to do good to others, for this but for this you have no interest either in this life or the next. Purport: six kinds of opulences, namely wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation, are all originally the different attributes pertaining to the absolute personality of Godhead. Living beings who are part and parcel entities of the Supreme Being have all these attributes partially, up to the full strength of 78%. In the material world, these attributes, up to 78% of the Lord's attributes, are covered by the material energy as the sun is covered by the cloud. The covered strength of the sun is very dim compared to the original glare. And similarly, living beings with such attributes become almost extinct from their original color. There are three planetary systems, namely the lower worlds, the intermediate worlds, and the upper worlds. The human beings on Earth are situated at the beginning of the intermediate worlds. But living beings like Brahma and his contemporaries live in the upper worlds, of which the topmost is Satyaloka. In Satyaloka, the inhabitants are fully cognizant of Vedic wisdom, and thus the mystic cloud of material energy is cleared, and therefore they are known as the Vedas personified. Such persons, being fully aware of knowledge, both mundane and transcendental, have no interest in either the mundane or transcendental worlds. They are practically desireless devotees. In the mundane world, they have nothing to achieve, and in the transcendental world, they are full in themselves. Then, why do they come to the mundane world? They descend on different planets as messiahs, messiahs by the order of the Lord to deliver the fallen souls. On the earth, they come down and do good to the people of the world in different circumstances under different climatic influences. They have nothing to do in this world save and except reclaim the fallen souls rotting in material existence deluded by material energy.
Hey,
Okay,
two more
Prabhu,
verses.
can
Yes,
anyone
Prabhu.
continue, Prabhu?
Yes,
Thank
thank
you
you so much.
for allowing me to read, Prabhu.
Text number 24. ततश्च वः पृच्छमिमं विपृच्छे विसर्प्य विप्राइतिकृत्यतायं सर्वात्मनां म्रियमनश्च कृत्यं शुद्धं च तत्रामृषताभियुक्ता. Tataha, as such, cha and vaha unto you, prithyam, that which is to be asked. Imam, this vipricche, beg to ask you, vishrabhya, trustworthy, vipraha, brahmanas, iti, das, krityatayam, out of all different duties, sarvatmana, by everyone, mriyamanai, especially those who are just about to die, cha and krityam, dutiful, shuddham, perfectly correct, cha and tatra, therein, amrashata, by complete deliberation, abhiyukta, just befitting. Translation. O trustworthy Brahmanas, I now ask you about my immediate duty. Please, after proper deliberation, tell me of the unallowed duty of everyone in all circumstances, and specifically of those who are just about to die. Purport. In this verse, the king has placed two questions before the learned sages. The first question is, what is the duty of everyone in all circumstances? And the second question is, what is the specific duty of one who is to die very shortly? Out of the two, the question relating to the dying man is most important because everyone is dying man, either very shortly or after 100 years. The duration of life is immaterial, but the duty of a dying man is very important. Maharaj Pariksit placed these two questions before Sukadev Goswami also on his arrival, and practically the whole of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, beginning from the second canto up to the last 12th canto, deals with these two questions. The conclusion arrived at therefore is that devotional service of the Lord Sri Krishna, as it is confirmed by the Lord himself in the last pages of the Bhagavad Gita, is the last word in relation to everyone's permanent duty in life. Maharaj Parikshit was already aware of this fact, but he wanted the great sages assembled there to unanimously give their verdict of his conviction to that he might be able to go on with his confirmed duty without controversy. He has especially mentioned the word Shuddha or perfectly correct. For transcendental realization or self-realization, many processes are recommended by various classes of philosophers. Some of them are first-class methods, and some of them are second or third-class methods. The first-class method demands that one give up all other methods and surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord, and thus be saved from all sins and their reactions. Okay, now we go to 6 Astakam prayers. Chetodharpanamarjanam pavamaha Sreyah Kairavachandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamritasvadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam.
नाम बहुधानि सर्वशक्तिः दात्रार्पितानियमितः स्मरणेन कालः एतादृशीतो कृपा भगवान् मम मे दुर्दैवमी दृश्मयाजन्नानुरागः
Srinarapi Sunichana Darorapi Saheshnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtanya Sadahari.
Nadanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadish kamaye mama janmani janmanishvare bhavatat bhaktirahaitu kitvayi.
ऐनन्दतनकिङ्करं तमां विस्मयवां बुधौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कजस्य स्थूली सत्संविचिन्तया
नयनं गलदश्रुधारया वदनं गद्गदहृदय गिरा पुलकैरेण चित्तं वपु कदा तव नाम ग्रहणे भविष्यति
युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्राविर्शायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दविरहेण मे
अशिष्णव परथ रथं पिनस्तु मदर्शनं मर्मं हठं करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विदतुलं पतो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु स एव नर्पणः
कृष्ण लेबन प्रभु जय श्री प्रभुपाद
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept humble obeisances.
हरे
All glories to
कृष्ण
Srila
हरे
Prabhupada.
कृष्ण प्रणाम
All glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. The Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
Oh my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benedictions to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by chanting your holy names. But I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them.
One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige and ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
Almighty Lord, I am not desired to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your costless devotional service birth after birth.
O son of
O son
Maharaj. Yes, Prabhu.
O son of O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal savior, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet.
My Lord, when will my spirit decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name?
Oh Govinda, feeling your separation, I'm considering a woman to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
I know no one but Krishna is my Lord, and his will remains so even if he handles me roughly in his embrace or make me broken hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally.
Tribol, Shri Siksastakam ki jai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Baujanma Karaya Dishavana Kirtan, Tabutana Paya Krishna Pade Premadan. If one is infested with the 10 offenses in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, despite his endeavor to chant the holy name for many births, he will not get the love of God. That is the ultimate goal of this chanting. The 10 offenses against the holy name are as follows. The first offense is to blaspheme the devotees who had dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord.
Second offense, to consider the names of the demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the names of the Lord Vishnu.
Third opens to disobey the order of spiritual master.
Fourth offense, to blaspheme the Vedic literature in Persians to the Vedic version.
Fifth offense, to
Fifth,
consider the glory of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination.
sixth opens to give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord.
Seventh offense, to commit. Okay, yes, go on, Prabhu.
Commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord.
Eighth offense, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanda.
Ninth offense, to instruct the faithless person about the glories of the holy name.
10th offense, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prema, I offer my respectful obeisances. and to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They can fulfill the desires of everyone just like desire trees, and they are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Vancha kalpa
namo namaha.
Acharya Shri Śrīmad Bhakti Vedanta Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. And the
Hari
Godeva
Bol Prabhupada.
Prabhupada ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande.